All right, before we get started, I just want to communicate that today's episode of Game Recognized Game is being brought to you by IJO Consulting LLC. For all of your diversity and student advocacy needs, Dr. IJ is here to help. With over a decade of experience of working in schools and with families, Dr. IJ has a proven track record of making academic success possible for every student. Now, I have to give my own personal testimony of working with this young brother. Very successful, very humble, he gets it done because he understands the kids. Working together, we were able to get many kids that graduate that didn't have a shot. So if you are a family that needs additional supports for your child or an educational provider that needs systematic solutions for working with high-need students, IJO Consulting LLC is here for you.
All right, if you're listening right now, you have now tapped into day 2 at the CAAASA 2019 Conference, California Association of African American Superintendents and Administrators. Mm-hmm. We're going to do the day 2 recap, before we get out of here for dinner. And I got my guy, my comrade, my colleague. Mm-hmm. Say hello.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? To those that may be listening, what's going on?
Hey, introduce yourself one more again.
Okay, yeah, my name is Edison Kelly. You can call me Dr. Kelly or just call me Ed. Either way, I'll answer.
Well, I'm gonna call you Coach.
Hey, I answer to that too.
Hey, like our guy Fody wanted to say, talk to me, I'll talk back.
That's right. Just give me attention.
Hey, you might hear the energy in my voice, man, and that's only because I am amped right now.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, me too.
Summary of today
was great.
Great day.
Yeah, it was great. It was
great day. Good. You want to start off? Let me let you lead in to why it was such a great day.
Well, I think again, just like I said last time we spoke, it's just a real good feeling when you go out there and you look at all just the black power that you witness. Men and ladies walking around, and the leadership and the energy that was given to given during the time period, and also too, I like that. I like that one workout session. What was it called again? I think it was called Equity Beyond the Talk.
Oh, Beyond the Talk.
Beyond the Talk.
Hey, walk it like you talk it. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't play no games. The game is real right now. Don't try to play anything.
In Vallejo, the Bay Area, and beyond, because we influence many people.
That's right.
So don't talk about it.
Be about it.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was so inspiring about that session though?
Well, Nicole Anderson is a beast. I mean, she really puts it down, and she makes it plain. When she talks,
right.
she's engaging in a way that she expresses herself, and a way that she presents herself.
Right.
And she makes sure that everybody in the room feels heard. I like the title within itself. Lends to action.
Yeah.
She put it out there. She said one thing that she said that before we deal with the achievement gap,
right,
we got to deal with the gap in our mind.
Yeah, that mindset gap.
The mindset. And that was profound to me.
Deep, deep.
And that's really where the achievement gaps begin, in the minds of all the educators right now.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna quote Beast Mode.
Mm-hmm.
About that action, boss.
That's right.
About that action.
That's right.
Can I just tell you why I am pumped up?
Hey, tell me why you pumped up, man.
We had the honor and the pleasure. Nicole reached out to us, or we reached out to her. Mm-hmm. And when like-minded individuals get together, and she, like when we was prepping, she was like, "I'm just gonna go with the spirit."
That's what she said.
What the spirit said. So when we called her, she just went with that spirit, like, this will be great.
Yep,
right?
She did.
So she gave us the opportunity, right, to have 15 to 20, probably more like 25 minutes of her deal. And it was a principal panel, and people at the conference got to come and ask us questions, all under the lens of equity. But this is why I'm so fired up. Man, we murked it.
We did. I think the presentation went well. I felt comfortable speaking. I felt like the the educators in the room were engaged in what we were saying.
That's why I'm saying we murked it. Like we went over the presentation. We've done other presentations. But just the feedback, the engagement.
The engagement.
I mean, it was something obviously that was talking to him.
Yeah. You know, I don't think good times hurt too, though.
No,
you know?
hey, it ain't never hurt nobody.
They hurt, you know. We played some segments of good times. The episode when JJ brought his report card home.
There you go. Hey, and for those don't, and so here's the cold piece. And so, you know, Edison, man, like I just got to give you that, man. Like, this is why I admire about you. You listen, and not to me or nobody else, but you listen to your calling, to a higher being. And somebody spoke that episode into you, right? So then we collaborated on it,
we
right?
did.
I went and found the video, but that was your call.
Yeah, right on. Man.
And for all the listeners, if you don't know the sitcom Good Times, it was one that was based in or released in the 1970s, mid to late 70s, right?
Actually, I think it was even a little earlier than that.
Okay. But here's the cold part about it. I grew up on it, right? I was born in 77.
Yep.
But I was watching it well into the 80s.
Yeah, and I was watching it back in the mid 70s.
Right.
You know.
But the issue, so I'm gonna let you elaborate on the scenes, but the issues in regards to education and equity for Black and brown students was very apparent in the 70s.
Yep.
And we're still talking about the same thing. So elaborate.
Well, you know, if you look at the scene, it was a particular scene in Good Times where JJ brought a report card home. And the report card had decent grades. Now, what was interesting to me was that they said it was a good report card because it had all C's and 1A.
What was the grades?
All C's and 1A. And they were saying that was a great report card for him.
They was ready to celebrate.
Yeah. So that goes to show you the expectations they had in him.
Right.
Right. That was the first thing. But then they celebrated. Then they started doing a little more research and realized that he didn't really earn the C's that he had.
What was the score on his test?
The score was he failed his test.
But he got a passing.
But he got a passing.
How real is that?
It's very real because it's going on in our alternative education programs
to this day.
To this day, and that's what was brought out in our message. You know, when we present it, you know how we push them on, and you know, and it's not because people are bad. It's just that again, as we looked at the data, who we getting most of the time in these programs,
right?
Juniors and seniors.
And those who have been disenfranchised, I think you called it out for 11 years.
Yeah, for 11 years.
Actually 12 when you include kindergarten.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So for 11 years they've been franchised, and finally they come to us as seniors for us to fix them.
Yeah, you got that magic wand, right?
Yeah, well, my magic wand stopped working a long time ago.
So you know, but in reality, all BS to the side, like this is a real serious scenario that not just myself or coach, but many other administrators and teachers in all ed are faced with on a daily basis. And this thing of equity, I know it's the buzzword. Nicole said the new coconut water.
Yep, that's right. She did say
I
that.
got it. You know, because a couple of years from now there will be a new buzzword. But this thing of equity is real.
Yeah.
And so when I was listening to the mom, Florida Evans, and she related it to, we don't want our son, in regards to education, going through this express car wash in 3 minutes. And then when he get out, he's still wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
She said that was so deep to me.
It was profound. And then also, too, James Evans Sr.
Yeah.
He said, the principal told him, I'm just trying to, I'll give him a diploma so he can get a job. He's like, I got a job.
Right. He got a job.
He said, James Evans, the father said, I got a job.
Matter of fact, he had how many?
He said, I had 2. Right. He said, but I want more for my son.
Right.
I want my son to have an opportunity. And that's where you can lay your hat on. When he said, I want my child to have an opportunity. And that's really what the essence of equity.
Yeah.
We just want all students to have the same opportunities in life.
And you cannot have the same opportunity or opportunities until that playing field is level.
That's right.
Right? Because if it's not level, those who came up in a different situation will have a head start.
Yep.
And you know, I'm not knocking as far as like, you know, parents putting their kids in better scenarios. However, I was one of those kids. You just listened to my first podcast episode ever. You learned something about me and something. I was listening, prepping for our presentation today, and I heard you, but it really struck me hard. You said, dude, you as my brother, because we've been around each other for a long time, you are a miracle child. Why did you say that?
Because, I mean, I heard your story. You know, I heard your story, and I knew you, but I didn't really know you till I heard that podcast.
Right.
You know, not too many. Again, we deal with all that every day. Most kids that's in those scenarios don't come out.
Right.
They don't come out of those scenarios. People usually bend in those scenarios. They go to the drugs, or they go to the jail, or they go to all the other avenues of our at-risk youth. You was a legitimate at-risk youth.
And let me just tell you this: the reason why I brought that up because our other comrade, you know, my co-producer for everything we're doing with this Game Orchestrated podcast, Game Recognized Game, Gamed Up, all of that. Dr. IJ, also known as my guy Ijoma, you know, we talked about that one meme that's out there, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it, where you have these teachers or evaluators grading, sitting at a table. They're animals. And then there's a particular animal that climbs a tree. The animal has an A, right? But you got this goldfish in a goldfish bowl. And that particular person, animal, fish, whatever you want to call it, has an F. Because they're grading him or evaluating him or her
on how
to climb a tree.
Yeah.
Right? And Ijoma said the cold part about that is there will be some goldfish that climb the tree. They make it happen.
Okay.
And then other people will say, if they could do it, why can't you do it? And what he said was, no, that statement is not right, because what that goldfish did in climbing that tree is unnatural.
Yeah.
They persisted. They did some things that was not natural. So we can't hold everybody to that same standard.
Yep. And also in that statement that you're saying right now, we're not giving goldfish the permission to be fish.
Right. And that's the whole point.
Yeah. Why?
You got to be you got to be a monkey or, a lizard or whatever else, climb a tree.
And that should be the baseline when we deal with our kids.
Right.
We got to give them permission to be themselves.
True indeedy.
And that's where the baseline should begin. And then once they have permission and safety to be themselves, then we take them on the education journey. But what happens is we start them off telling them that you got to be an Eisenhower or you got to be.
Now let's bring it back to that episode of Good Times, because man, the educators, the principals, vice principals, assistant principals, directors, everyone that was in that room, man, they really were at attention, right? And so remember that statement or that comment when they said, well, we didn't get to see the whole episode. However, we know of the sitcom. We have a frame of reference. And the thing that stuck out to that particular group was the fact that, well, we all knew that JJ was an excellent artist.
Yep, that's right.
If they would have allowed him
to be a fish,
guess what? He wouldn't be getting Fs.
That's right.
And he wasn't allowed to be a goldfish.
And his character was a genius artist. He wasn't just an ordinary artist.
No.
He was a genius artist.
No.
So you have somebody with that much talent, and you up here grading them because they can't remember the Battle of Hastings.
Right. I didn't even remember that. Hey, it was funny. You know what resonated with me? When James Sr. looked back at Florida, like,
because he didn't know.
Yeah, what's 1066?
Yeah,
right.
And he didn't even know.
That was me.
Yeah,
I'm an educated man.
Yeah, with degrees,
with degrees,
college degrees.
You know what I'm saying? So, it was funny because we was talking to our other colleague, Nikki Pitcher, Dr. Nikki Pitcher. Let's get it right, because she would put in work. But remember when we was talking, and and I think Ijoma brought this to the forefront in the conversation we had. But he was like, "Is it about the knowledge, or is it about the behavior?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it about the behavior? So, I looked at it in the same light, but totally different. Like, if I were to come do this presentation in a tank top, flip flops, in some shorts on, people look at me crazy.
Yeah.
Why? I could do the work.
Yeah.
I've been doing the work for 15, 20 years. You know what I mean?
But
so go ahead and elaborate on that.
But you're not being valued on your work. You're being valued on your appearance, you know, and fitting in to the social norm.
Right now.
Fitting in a social norm instead of the value of your knowledge and your experience and exposure. I mean, shoot, dude, you brought up in poverty and you've had all these different aspects in your life, and then you fought through all that, went to college and graduated. I mean, but nobody's not seeing that. They're just seeing some crazy dude on some flip flops.
Right, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna pause right now. We just got a call from esteemed, peers. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna head out and get to this dinner. But I'm just gonna press pause because when we get done with dinner and we come back, I'm hoping that we get Dr. Nikki Pitcher in the building. Mm-hmm. Jessica Brown, district administrator in the building, because I would like to hear, we're just talking about one workshop, one breakout session. I want to hear about more, recap, because I really can't. And then we got something else special because we was able to meet somebody that the average person don't get to meet.
That's true.
You hear me? That's true. So, hey, stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hello. All right, we're back from the break, that dinner break me and Dr. Kelly told you about. You got your guy, the game orchestrator, Ernani Santos himself, live and direct podcast. We in Anaheim in the hotel room. I got the whole UWAP set up, and I got some real professionals in the building, even more so than myself. They got credentials, titles to prove it. You know what I'm talking about? So, real quick, who do I got in the building? Start with yourself, young man.
What's up? I'm Brandon from Vallejo High School.
Hey, all the kids know Mr. Harris, though.
Yeah, a.k.a. Chauncey Billups.
Hey.
That's what they call him.
No, real talk. And he got game just like that, though. I ain't going to lie. I watched him play.
Really?
For real. Brandon got game. Mm-hmm. He got game. Who else we got in the building?
Hey, I'm still here. Edison Kelly.
What your name is?
Edison Kelly.
Dr. Kelly.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. I will shout your name out if you ain't gonna say it. Come on now.
All right, so we got here Jessica Brown.
Hey, I
also
call it
known as
what it is.
Miss Brown, JB.
JB.
Jess.
Hey, here's a real story about JB. We just met the state superintendent of public instruction.
That's right.
Tony Thurman. Look where he had his eyes locked on her. And guess what he said? Guess what he said? What your name is? No, on some real though. No, he's a real solid dude.
Absolutely.
And before we left to the break, that's what I was trying to prep y'all for. Was getting ready to meet him. Oftentimes you get to meet people that rise to a certain level and they can get to act in a certain way. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And no, he was a real dude.
He was.
And on some real stuff, I told him about this podcast, Game Recognized Game, the game orchestrator. And he looked at me after he left me hanging at first because he had some young, beautiful women, shake their hands, kiss the babies. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame him. I would have did the same thing. And look what he told me. Oh, we're neighbors. I'm from the rich. That's how I knew he was official. He like, nobody say the rich. And I say, oh, rich city? And he just gave me that nod, So hopefully he stayed true to his word to get on this podcast, okay? Who else we got in the building?
Hello, I'm Nikki Pitcher.
Dr.
Nikki Pitcher.
Yeah.
Dr. Nikki Pitcher. And I would just say this. I'm going to make this prediction live on this podcast. Y'all stay tuned for each and every single one of them, right? Because at some point, you know what I mean, it could be a year from now, 5 years from now, especially based on the conversations we were having tonight. We got, two powerful black women talking about what they about to do y'all gonna hear about them. I promise you, it's going to happen. So stay tuned to them names. But right now, what we're gonna do is give you a recap, right? So I know I talk a lot. I get long-winded. I'm gonna back up for a minute though. So Brandon, you're nearest the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Day 2 recap. But just speak on both days because it was just me and Dr. Kelly yesterday. I mean, what are some takeaways for you?
One of the main takeaways for me was financial literacy, because that's one of the main topics that we really don't address, especially in urban centers. We never talk to our kids about investing money, how to spend money. Most of the money that we do spend actually doesn't even stay in the black community.
Ooh,
so it goes straight to the white folks.
That's heavy. And I think one of the people from that talk said that, like, the money doesn't even stay in the community longer than 24 hours. Yeah. I think he said that. And that's real, man. That's real. And what subject currently? I know you got your admin credential, and you finna bust that bubble in a minute, no doubt. But currently, what do you teach?
Right now, I do world history, U.S. history, and American government.
And when I say, like, the kids at Vallejo High know Mr. Harris, like, there is no exaggeration. He like one of the coolest cats ever. You know what I mean? Look, he over here blushing. Y'all can't even see it. He blushing, but
like a rock star.
But listen, you could pay me later.
Yes.
You could pay me later. No, on some real stuff. I was a AP at Vallejo High for 2.5 years, and the kids have mad love. I'm not even from the East Coast, but I'm gonna use that terminology. Mad, they have mad love for Mr. Harris. So that's some real stuff, man. And I agree with you 100%. Because even at my site, like, that's huge. If they don't get anything else after 1 year with me, I wish they could get some financial literacy.
That's
so,
important.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
JB, speak
In
on
the
it.
long run.
Speak on it.
No, I mean, just, the earlier, the better in terms of financial literacy, before students get into, debt, understanding what you're getting involved in, because oftentimes, even for myself speaking, didn't know about, for example, when getting financial aid,
Right.
You just sign on the dotted line.
Ooh,
You're
paper.
signing for money that you're not necessarily even needing. So to get that information early, get the money that you need, not necessarily just extra money.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you feel
Gotta
like,
pay it back.
oh, it's a loan later. No, right now,
Right.
I'm living with that loan.
No, real talk.
You don't see that, when you're 18, 19, 20. But right now, I'm currently dealing with the decisions I made at age 18. So it's important to get that information to students as early as possible.
Right.
I'm a huge advocate for that. I wish I had the information back when I
No,
was
that's
18.
real walk. And then when you think about it, the whole theme of this conference was equity.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about kids, now one thing I learned from Nicole Anderson earlier in our thing is that equity looks different for different populations.
It has
I did learn that.
It has to.
However, equity for our black and brown children, and I'm included in that, right? I had no idea about financial literacy. And so I wish I would have got some more game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before
Absolutely.
graduating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's huge.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
yeah, with that being said, like, I want to bring something that's tangible though. I don't want to bring concepts to the school. Like, I want to bring something that's tangible for the kids that they will remember, and they could take with them once they graduate. You know what I'm saying? So, Dr. Pitcher, how you feel?
Oh my gosh, they just put me
On blast.
You know what, honestly, so I feel like,
No, I can hear you. Go ahead.
oh, okay. So for me, I'm very hard-headed. So I heard a lot of this financial literacy stuff, but I had to learn it on my own. So although the information would be good to give to students in high school or even freshman year in college, when we were roaming I can't say hallways, but roaming this
Like the
walkways,
quad area or
the
whatever.
quad,
Yeah.
and they had all these credit card
Right.
offers.
Yep.
Citibank.
Citibank,
Right.
they were giving away T-shirts and candy
Right.
bars, and I love candy.
Right.
So
No, that's
I
real.
mean, I had like a $3,000 gas card, and I didn't even have a driver's license. But I would go there and get like snacks and stuff because I lived in the dorms and I would use it for the food. But I'll say all that to say that although my mom tried to warn me, I've always been the kind of person that has to learn on my own. You know, so that, you know, but there are a lot of people out there who do listen.
Right.
So if they would have learned it in high school,
Right.
or, you know, freshman year of college, I think more so, they would have been able to use those, you know, use that advice and not make some of the mistakes that I did make.
Right.
I totally screwed my credit up.
The powerful thing about that, though,
I
is
did.
no, but the powerful thing is that you could reflect and say, I had the choice, I had the knowledge, and then I made this mistake anyways. Nothing wrong. I made plenty of mistakes, even though I had the knowledge, right? I think the equity piece is most people that we're serving, most kids, and I'm one of those kids, right? Because I grew up in Vallejo, went to school in Vallejo. You know what I mean? Hillside. I'm throwing my H's up right now. I love y'all. No, but on some real stuff, like nobody ever even told us that.
Right.
So it's one thing. It's one thing to do something different because you're young and you can just kind of navigate your path. That's cool too. But it's a different thing when you don't even get that knowledge. Like
Right.
you have no idea. So of course you're going. You know what I'm saying? You're going to just do what you feel.
Right.
B, talk to me.
Now, I was actually going to share with you guys, City of Vallejo right now at my high school. What we do is we have 5 sessions of financial literacy
Oh, good.
Wow.
for the seniors. So we've already done that. So we're doing the juniors right now.
That's
So,
dope,
if anything,
man.
right now we're just planting the seed.
That's dope.
You know,
And you know
current-
what I like to hear about that, I mean, although I still work in the school district, is that oftentimes in the media, we get a lot of bad raps for a lot of different things. And so it's good to see some progressive type situations going on. You know what I mean? So Dr. Kelly over here quiet, man. Like I'm feeling some kind of way, man. Huh?
Well, you know, listen.
Look, watch this. You over there, you got your deuce dog hat on,
I don't
man.
know about
You
that.
a real bruh.
Yeah.
To the
Like a real
They
bruh.
don't know about
And you
that.
over here like,
Talk
man,
to the
you
people.
just quiet.
Dr.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Well, you know, like I said at our first session, you know, when I talk to the kids, I say there's old money and there's fast money.
Fast money.
Old money, you know, and the thing about old money is that, you know, in white affluent neighborhoods or areas,
Right.
kids grow up in it already.
Right.
They money already set 2 or 3 generations already.
Indoctrinated.
Speak on
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
already on there.
Yeah.
So kids already grow up in it already. So they grow up in the game already,
Mhm.
and they know it.
We call that an advantage.
Yeah, and it's an
Now watch this.
Yes.
They listen to the conversations
Uh-huh.
not intended for them,
Mm-hmm.
but they're privy to that, right?
Yeah.
What? So I'm from the hood. What was we privy to?
And that goes into the fast money.
Right.
And the fast money is, you know, and that's why it's almost a losing game for us. When we get the money, it don't stay in our hand that long.
Right.
Because we busy trying to get it, and see a lot in the old money game. They'll walk around with some old jeans on and some hats because the money they got is going into stocks and bonds,
Right.
and investments and property and everything else.
They
Where-
financially literate.
They financially live. They grow up doing all that already. Whereas we get money, man. We got Jordans and
True religion.
True religion.
Spending
all
what
that.
we don't really have.
Yeah.
Gucci, Fendi,
And-
Trying to look a certain way.
Prada.
Because we're conditioned to believe. I think we're conditioned to believe that us being rich means we gotta show that we're rich.
Right.
We gotta
You're
gotta
right.
look the part
Right.
and all that. And then and if I'm driving a nice car, if I got all these things that's gonna actually be worn out in about a year or
Right.
so.
Right. Here's what I would add to that.
Mhm.
When you're in my opinion, when you're literate financially, you can still have that if you
Right.
want it, right?
Mhm.
Like you could budget for that.
Mhm.
A percentage go to this, a percentage go to that.
Right.
But you're
Absolutely.
not living check to check to get that.
But
You
it's
know
a
what I
di-
mean?
But it's a
Right.
difference. Like for example, I tell these kids, you got all this Nike on right now. Why don't you, since you being a very good customer to Nike, why don't you start buying some Nike stock?
Right.
Why don't you own part of Nike?
Talk
You
to
own some
me.
Nike
Talk to
stock.
me.
You know, and then you owning that Nike stock, then you can feel good about wearing some of that Nike.
Yeah, but what I want to say is that like when people like what they like I don't want to make them feel bad about that either. But if you live in paycheck to paycheck to get that,
That's the problem.
Right.
That goes to what I mean by the financial literacy. if you got it, you can spend it, you can buy that stuff. That's fine. But
Right.
I'm spending my money that I should be spending, where I can be investing it right now, or I
Right.
can take this money and pay some bills. But I really want to. I'm conditioned to believe that I gotta have these Jordans or these Nikes and all that.
Well, because they can see it immediately.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Right.
fast.
Yeah.
But you know, when people go designer, you know what I'm saying, and it could be any. The thing that I would say that from the outside looking in, because I've never been into that, my beginnings, my humble beginning would never let me do that. The thing that I respect though is like when people are not about the label and they're more about like the quality. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you could get like Louis Vuitton and people don't, unless you into it, you wouldn't even know it was Louis Vuitton because it's
Right.
not about the label.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, if you're financially smart and you didn't put all your money in there, I had no problem with that.
No, I hear you. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's just that it goes back to what LeBron James, not the basketball player LeBron James.
Hey,
but the
he
brother-
was dope though. He was dope.
He was real. He said in a capitalist society,
Right.
you gotta have customers,
Right.
and you gotta have the owners. So
Two types of
so
people.
which one you gonna be?
Right.
You know, if I'm in a mindset that I gotta own all this stuff to show that I'm rich,
Right.
That's real.
I'm now the customer.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you the owner
When I'm the owner,
Right.
and you got some money to
to do it, yeah, there's
why?
a difference.
We from the hood. We got some
That's
money.
a- that's
We
a
got
whole
some money to
different
trick
mindset.
off.
Yeah.
We gonna
Right.
trick off some money.
Yeah, I don't own no property. I don't own nothing.
Right.
But I got big screen TVs and everything all over my house. You know.
No, that's real. That's real. And I would say, man, we had a speaker from the Federal Reserve from San Francisco. Like he was in the building. LeBron James.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spelled differently. It was spelled differently. And then
Non-basketball.
non-basketball. No, that was powerful. That was
It was.
powerful.
It was.
Any other workshops aside from financial literacy that y'all went to? Anything in regards to like moving beyond the talk of equity? Maybe.
Oh yeah, y'all did an awesome presentation. Equity.
Look, that
Let's
was
talk
my
about it.
shameless plug. Shameless plug.
But one thing I did pull, I took back from attending the equity workshop. It just reminded me when we talked about, we looked at. There was a clip about. What was the movie? The show? Good Times.
Good Times.
And JJ. And then
That old
having
sitcom.
the low expectations. And that was big for me because previously, so I taught for 10 years, I taught math. And one of the things I can remember when people came into my classroom, they would say, "Oh, this is the GATE class." And I'm like, "No, this is my class." You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and they would say, "Oh, you have such high expectations for your students." I'm like, "Of course."
They were so shocked.
They were shocked.
Yeah.
Like so one of the things that stood out for me was just a reminder about that the expectations for one, it's important to have high expectations for students, but not everyone has that.
Right.
And how important that is. So I was just reminded of that fact and how important that is to keep your expectations high for your students. Go ahead.
No, I would say, and I'll just add to this. It's a few of us that see you were part of that campus.
Yeah.
And I know Dr. Pitcher at the time, she wasn't Dr. Pitcher, she was a part of that
She
campus,
was.
right?
Middle.
And I know about the data,
Right.
right? That you guys were showing. That was that mindset piece.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You guys had a different mindset.
Absolutely.
And then
And our principal did as well. So I
Absolutely.
think
Right.
that really has a lot to do with it.
It does.
and she wasn't taking no ish.
No, right.
Shout out to Gigi.
Dr. Patrick.
Dr.
Absolutely.
Patrick. No, for real. But the whole well, here's the thing. There's no surprise that you're doing what you're doing. That Dr. Pitcher's doing what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I can't wait for that math book to come out.
Absolutely.
Because that's gonna be powerful.
It's already copyright.
Yeah, for real.
Trying to get it-
For real.
I already wrote it. It's done. We just got
So
we'll
you know what I mean?
work
When
on
you
that.
think about when you think about taking Vallejo Middle, I guess if we put it in perspective, if it was a high school at that time, Title I, right?
It was.
It was.
Right.
It was.
And they coming at you like, oh, look at your expectations. This must be an AP class, or
Right.
however
All
you
the
framed
time I
it.
got that.
Right.
Yes.
So, it's not about the kid. It's about the adults.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, can't wait for your book to come out. Talk to me,
Thank
Ed.
you.
Well, from that workshop, the vein was alternative education.
Right.
And if you look at the classes in our schools, the expectations are very low. They don't expect much from the students, so they don't give the caliber of rigor of work when they give them the instruction.
Yep.
So because they don't have the expectation, and I think it's huge what Jessica's saying about that.
But one thing you said earlier, not just in regards to expectation, but I think you said something to the effect of like feeling sorry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, in another workshop, Robert Jackson's workshop, he said one of the problems that we have is we start feeling sorry for kids. When you feel sorry for kids, then your expectations go low.
Does that help or hurt them?
Yeah, it hurts them.
Not good.
Yeah,
Right.
like don't feel sorry for them.
No.
They kids, they're resilient. They're gonna do what they gotta do. You gotta,
Right.
you gotta still keep the bar high.
Absolutely.
Always.
Always.
And no matter what school you're working with, in particular when I'm saying alternative ed schools. In my school, I'm like, you gotta work just like everybody else gotta work.
That's it.
Don't call me no.
And you know what? And for me, I really just continued the work that you started.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when I took over at Finney, I get a lot of credit, but really I was just, it's almost like you're a head coach for this successful sport team. And if for whatever reason the coach say, I'm going to be a GM, not a head coach, but they successful, the next person they hire, the Golden State Warriors, right? Mark Jackson. He's the one who started all that, right?
Uh-huh.
So I feel like Edison is Mark Jackson,
All right.
Steve Kerr.
and I'm Steve Kerr,
All right.
right? Now, real talk. So I took the groundwork that you laid, the vision, anyways. Like the rigor, like we still got to get there. Like it's still continuation high school at the end of the day.
But the good thing about it is conversations about it now.
Yeah.
Before it wasn't conversations about it.
Right.
Now the fact that you're actually noticing and we're talking about it. Before then, it's no disrespect to any previous principals before me at all. I'm not making that no
Because we had great principals
We had great
before.
principals there. Before me, it was Joel Julian
But we talking about even before that,
Even
Dr.
before-
Young.
and all the rest of them. The conversation was more or less, and I'm gonna say, being a black man, when we get these programs, they expect us to just basically be babysitters.
Right.
And I'm like, you pay me too much money to make me a babysitter. So
That's right.
You just gotta learn.
Right.
I'm running a school. I'm not running a
Right.
child care.
That's it.
So we gotta talk education. I'm not talking about discipline.
Right.
They gonna act right because I'm in head. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not gonna tolerate nothing.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
That's it,
They
man.
gonna act right.
That's it.
And they always say that too. They say, well, how come your kids are acting so? Because they supposed to.
Right.
It ain't no rocket science.
Expectations. Talk to me, JB. Talk to
Yeah.
me about that.
No, I mean it's just important to have those high expectations. So if you expect the least from a student, then that's what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you had the math classes. They thought they was AP,
They did,
but they wasn't though.
They wasn't AP. Well,
Your expectations
I
was
operated
here.
them like they were AP classes.
Right.
Every day.
And you say, why they doing good? What they supposed to
This
do
is what
good?
they're supposed to do.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what? I will say something that was powerful that I heard multiple times, and for whatever reason, I know that's not always the case, but we need more of us.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Coming to mess with the kids. It don't have to necessarily, I'm African American. Sometimes, like when I say us, I mean like people who's with it.
Right.
Well, you're a culture.
So the culture.
The culture.
The
Talk to me,
culture.
Dr. Pitcher.
Common
Talk to me.
culture.
Oh,
Talk
gosh.
about it.
No.
That's real.
Well, I'll say from the lens of being a black woman, just when I walk into the room, I don't have to say anything. Just who be, just aesthetically who I am. They're gonna receive me different than they would receive someone else. But what I'll say is that with you, and I've I've told you this before. I don't know if this is appropriate to say on the podcast.
Say it.
But
Say
to
it.
me, you are a black man.
We're the real. Hey, this
You know?
podcast gonna be the realest thing moving.
Because I've known you for 20 plus years.
Now watch this. Why would you make that comment?
Well, just because you're
Your culture is
No,
very
because my
acculturated.
listeners,
is similar to
I might have somebody listening to the first time, right? Even though I laid this out in my first episode, they don't know.
Yeah.
So why would you make that comment?
No, yeah, I would just say and I would say that you ascribe, not even ascribe. It's innate. It's who you are. And what I like about you is it's not pretentious. Like
Right.
it's not phony. It's really just who you are. And so you're probably, if we're being honest, more black than me.
Talk to me.
Look,
Talk to me.
know?
For sure.
So here's
sure.
the realest shit that I ever heard, and I did cuss because I really mean this.
We're gonna bleep it out.
So no, I'm not bleeping it out. Like my podcast, even when I go to the students, like I'm gonna give them some protocols and some things to abide by. But if they cuss one time, and I'm bleeping it out because I want us to be real, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, I just want to say something. I just want to piggyback on what I said because it's not just enough to look the part.
Right.
The kids, they can sift through the BS.
Right.
I don't cuss, so they can sift through the BS.
Right.
And so, and I think about someone who was actually, I'm not going to say any names, but I'm not even going to say that. But someone that I already said it at this conference who looks like me. But I just know that her experiences with the kids was different than mine. So maybe when we walk into the room, it's the same.
Right.
But it really is about getting to know the kids, respecting the kids, building relationships with the kids. And so, and that's what then keeps their, their interest and their respect and their, willingness to go above and beyond for you.
Right. And I would say this too, man. Like, it's not always about background and how you grew up. Sometimes it's circumstance, right? Or for whatever reason. So, no one knows this as far as the listeners, but Dr. Pitcher and I, we actually graduated together. So, but we didn't grow up together.
Right.
So her experience growing up was totally different, right? But she's able to do the work that she does because she went to school with people like me. So, like, no, on some real stuff. So, like, when things happen, she like, that reminds me of blank, blah, 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 blah. Because it could be me or it could be, somebody else we went to school with. So she could empathize because she's like, I know a kid like that. I had a friend like that, right? But if she never moved to Vallejo, or as far as like going to school in Vallejo, she might not ever have known that.
But on the flip side, I also was that kid. So
Yeah.
I also was the only student of color in my classroom.
Ooh, that's deep.
Not being called on when I raised my hand or like, oh, be quiet if I shouted out an answer, but someone else shouted out an answer and it was okay. So, I know that other side. And
so I know this conference really resonates with you.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And you know what? That's some things that people who had the experience, Vallejo, Richmond, Oakland, Baltimore, like wherever you're from, they don't know that side, right? And you can speak to that. You can speak to that. That's powerful.
It's real.
That's powerful because, like, at this point, like my son is going to a predominantly white school, a private school. He's a football player and he's driven. So he said, Dad, I want to go to the school. Mom, I want to go to school. Guess what we did? We made that happen.
Good.
Now he's experiencing some of the very things you talking about, though. So, no, I think that's a huge point because sometimes we get caught up in our own perspectives. But sometimes what we think is not even the reality.
Right.
And I think you just kind of touched on that. You know what I mean? So, man, I definitely appreciate your insight. What else going on, man? Like, this has been a long 2 days. My whole aspiration was to have a bunch of people, here at my set, in my room, doing a podcast. Couldn't happen. Like, people are rushing from workshop to workshop, because there's so much good information. So, I know that was not it. You know what I'm saying? So somebody else chime in. Like, Dr. Kelly, what else stood out to you?
Let's see. For today, I think
Anybody, Brandy, come on,
Yeah,
man.
I think
I'll let him finish.
just some of the plenary. Plenaries. For those that's listening right now, will be times where we would be in breakfast or in lunch, and they will have speakers that would come in and speak. From various different backgrounds. We had the financial literacy was one of them, and then we had what was that day yesterday at lunch breakfast. It was the speaker. What was her name?
Carter, Dr. Carter.
Oh man,
Prudence.
Yes.
Oh, she was deep. She was deep.
What she say? She said an elevator or an escalator versus the
broken stairwell. Yes.
Broken stairwell.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, some people, like we said, privileged. They have the escalator. They have the elevator, so they're gonna get to the top without a whole lot of effort. But then there's some that's out there right now that we're dealing with that's trying to get up on broken stairwells or broken ladders and stairwells and all that.
That's heavy.
So they have to work harder, and that's where the equity piece steps in, and the equity. How are we able to support those particular students?
Right.
She broke it down very well. I mean, it was a powerful lecture on her part. She had a lot of my attention. I'll take a lot of
No, she was deep. She was deep. What y'all think, man? Anything else?
Well, going back to you guys' workshop, one thing that really stood out and I kind of gathered from watching Good Times, it was, we trying to graduate kids, or we're trying to educate kids. And I think the main thing is we're just trying to fluff the numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Really
That's the equity piece, though. Yeah, you're right.
So our kids they're not mastering the grade level content.
Right. We're just pushing them through. So for the listeners, Dr. Kelly and I did his presentation, and I know I've been trying to withhold, like, that was our presentation. Right. But the thing that resonated with me, and I know Dr. Kelly as well, even though we put it together, was that part when Florida Evans was like, man, you trying to rush my son through this educational process like an express car wash, a 3-minute express car wash, and he's still coming out with his ears wet. Think about that for a minute, right? If you did that, are those kids really ready? You see what I'm saying? But as a system, we'll say, oh yeah, they got a diploma. But then what? You know what I'm saying? And then we're looking at things like crime rate and, I share my own story. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I damn near got kicked out of school because I owed money to the school, to the college. And, I had to make a way out of no way. You know what I mean? And I got kicked off of campus, got kicked off the team. And luckily for me, I had an adult on campus, Brother Charles. And I would shout his name out to the end of time. And his message, because we had an hour-long conversation. And what he told me, he said, man, I'm going to talk to everybody I got to talk to. And my message is going to be this. If any kid needs this education, it's this kid. You know what I'm saying? I was grinding on campus. I owed $5,000.
Well.
Right? My parents, credit? They was meth heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of credit they had? You know what I'm saying? They couldn't pay for me. I had to make a way out of no way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why he was like, we're St. Mary's, because I graduated from. We preach all this. Here's this kid. Do we push the hard line on him? That kind of goes against everything we preach. You see what I'm saying? We do the same thing as educators at times.
Right.
You feel me? Like, we want to push a hard line.
Right.
But we all done messed up. I'll be the first one to admit it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
every day.
Yeah. Talk to me, JB. Talk to me.
No, so going back to those, just expectations. Sometimes adults even, they have certain expectations for students, and they should always be high. But at the end of the day, we're all human, so we have to remember
right.
that. And so having or holding kids to certain expectations that we as adults don't hold our own selves to, I personally have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, Again, we're all human, so we have to understand. And for students, they're still developing, they're still learning. If I were to hold my even 17-year-old self accountable to, what I know now, like we make mistakes.
Hey, watch this.
We're still learning.
Even as far as meeting norms. Like I'm in staff meetings sometimes and I'm pulling people back.
Right. Absolutely.
And if y'all were students, it'll be a referral.
Right.
It'll be a suspension.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got staff members on cell phones. I got staff members blurting out.
Right.
I got staff, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we gonna hold the kids to that standard.
The kids to that particular, yes. I have a personal problem with that.
Absolutely.
So.
But what I would say I appreciate about this group is that we're willing to take on that charge. We're willing to go to bat. I mean, obviously, it's to get into this position. Like you had to take certain steps.
Absolutely.
The average person is not going to take those steps,
Right.
Because the payoff in the end, what I'm saying, as far as like on the financial end, like I'm in debt. I'm just going to tell y'all the truth, right?
As most educators are,
right. So, it's not like I did this. Oh, now I'm living the life, right? This my heart goes out to the kids, and all y'all have worked with me on one level or the other,
right.
And y'all know the kids love me. Why they love me? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm real, and that's the whole point in this podcast. Any podcast I do, as far as like on an education tip, is to try to change some people's perspective. Because some people do this for the paycheck.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a witness?
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not act like that's not a real thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm only doing this because.
Right.
When you say because, that's the problem.
Right.
Especially in schools like Vallejo, Richmond, Oakland, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man. And, any other breakout sessions? I know me and Dr. Kelly was working on our presentation, but I will say this though, Tony Thurman. I got a chance to listen to him talk. I seen the the campaign ads. I seen the picture. Like it looks good. It looks great, right? Got a chance to listen to him for 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, good.
Now, action got to follow the words. I'm a believer, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
he was talking the thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk to me.
Well, I followed his campaign, and there were some things I didn't agree with his campaign. There was certain things that he was supporting of unions and certain things like that. Certain things I didn't totally agree with, but I did agree with more things than I disagree with.
Right.
So I
that's politics, though, right? Everything
yeah,
gonna be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody I vote for that I totally agree with.
Right. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, but so I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical at first. But I went on ahead and voted for him. So after hearing him today and seeing just the type of person that he portrayed today,
right,
he seems like a person I can get behind, a
right,
person that I can support.
Hey, just his story alone, experiencing parents. I mean, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. Parents passed away when he was early, as far as age.
Mother died of cancer when he was young.
Wow.
Lived with a cousin, not an auntie, a cousin.
Yes, you put it to doorstep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, when he started explaining government cheese and food stamps, I'm like, ooh, he would only know that if he really went through it. You know what I'm saying? Because I done cashed out on many a days with food stamps.
Food stamps like money to me.
Hey, you know what I mean? And I think the dollar bill was like a brownish tint. The $5 bill was like a bluish tint, right? Like, nah. So my thing is, I can't speak for any other state, but that's what we need in California, because we got kids living that life every day. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to live that life to make an impact. you just have to understand and have the calling or the heart to do it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Shout out to Tony Thurman. Hey, I will say this. I'm going to put this out there. He gave me his card. He was looking at my colleague real tough, left me hanging. You know what I'm saying? He was staring deep into her eyes. JB. You know what I mean? I put my hand out, shaking my hand. He was enticed. No, he was just, he was being respectful. Like, I'm talking to you. I'm gonna give you my attention. But he heard me because I was like, oh damn, like that. I'm from Vallejo. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna say what I'm thinking. So he heard me. He said, "My bad, brother. Like, I didn't mean to leave you hanging." And he really he was respectful, man. Like, the thing I respected about him was we had the state administrator, you know what I mean, in charge, Tony Torkelson, and he Tom yep. Torkelson, yep. And he came and spoke. I mean, at the conference. Every year. So I feel like he's with the movement, but he spoke and then he left.
Politics. Yeah.
Right? This guy Thurman spoke.
Right.
And they said, "Do you want to take questions?" He said, "No, I don't need to take no questions and answer. I'm going to get down there with the people."
Yes.
No, that's real talk.
Right.
Can I get a witness?
We can respect that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then the only thing I'm saying, bruh, you left me hanging for 15 seconds though. For my homegirl. Like my homegirl from way back, right? So I'm just playing. I really respect him for that. So hopefully, as far as this podcast, he's true to his word, because I really, really, really would love to hear from him. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, man. Anything else? Recap. Day two.
Well, last thing I'll say is the networking piece. I had a chance to talk to my sister from Stockton Unified. And she was just talking to me about all the great things that they're doing out there.
You want to drop her name?
Was that the soup?
My girl, Lowry?
Yeah.
Oh, she's real.
Yeah.
She's real.
Stockton's really on the move right now. I know they had their struggles and they're
Stockton.
Is Lisa still there?
Yeah, she is. She
is.
Yeah,
still
she
there.
is.
Yeah, so she was just telling me a lot of the things that they're doing just within that city. That they're trying to do to build up the city as well as the school system.
Right.
They hired a lot of new people. So a lot of new people from not within that city. So they're really on a rise right now. Good. So it's a lot of props right now for Stockton Unified.
And you holding back though, but I will say the fact that they brought Willie B. Atkins.
Yeah.
To Stockton. Oh yeah, it's in Stockton.
Yeah, Willie B. Atkins program we have out in Vallejo.
You talk about the program.
Well, Willie B. Atkins is a college preparatory program it was started by a man by the name of Willie Atkins.
Yeah, Willie Atkins. Rest in peace, right?
Yeah. No, he's still living. He living out there. He living in Columbus, Georgia. Yeah. He living in Columbus, Georgia. But he was one of the first. I ain't seen him in so long.
Right.
Well,
he like a ghost.
No, he's the first African American principal in elementary school.
You tell him, holla at me.
I've been to his house. It's a beautiful house in Columbus, Georgia. But he a long time ago, as he got a district position, there was a grant called a Tanner Grant, and he went and got the Tanner Grant.
I remember Tanner.
And they asked him why he got this grant, because he noticed that there weren't enough black people going into college, getting into college. So he used the grant to help start a program to get African American students into college.
Wow.
And it's now 30. It's been now 34, 35 years.
Long time. I was still in school.
34, 35 years,
Yeah.
and it's doing well. Matter of fact, this Sunday we'll be leaving for our college tour to the East Coast. We're gonna look at the HBCUs out there.
How long you been going on that tour?
All since 2000.
2000.
Ooh, what year is it? Somebody tell me.
2019.
Ooh, 19 years you been on that tour?
Yeah.
You trying to go? Nikki's trying to go.
No, I need
that picture.
something else.
Hey,
So
bro,
what-
on some for real,
So
on
they-
some for real respect to you.
Right. So when they started, so now this year for the first time they now have this program in Stockton.
Okay.
You know, so now they're opening it up there now. And they're trying to reach some of the African American students out there in that in that area.
What I appreciate about that is like branching out, because Vallejo is, we know there's a need for Willie B. Atkins, right? So now we're branching out to other areas.
Well,
Y'all gone? Dr. Pitcher, love you.
Love you too.
I have her
JB, love you.
in the building.
I can't.
Hey, thank you for coming through. I noticed
Thank
we
you
on a
for the
late night for the
opportunity.
recap and all that.
Right. Awesome conference.
CAAASA Conference 2019.
2019.
B. Harris, you going too?
Wait, I just want to throw something
About
out there.
to
Throw it out there.
Get
Have
some
you guys
sleep.
ever heard of Vita Reality?
I have not.
Talk to me.
So it's a simulated, like financial literacy thing that we do in San Rafael City Schools with our seniors. So
Okay.
it's a 4-hour program. We have all these different people. It's sponsored by a bank. I think it's like Redwood Credit Union. I can't remember. I can get
Okay.
the information later. But they come out. They give the kids portfolios. They give the kids checkbooks, and they have all these different stations as far as like utility bills, rent, miscellaneous stuff. And so they have a budget, and then they have bills that they have to pay. And so they have to
Right.
kind of, okay, do you want to buy a pair of Jordans or do you want to pay your rent? So it's kind of like the kids learn a lot, but it's San Rafael, of course. But I think that'd be good in an urban community. So I
True-
can give
true
you
indeed.
that information. The kids love
Please
it.
do. Please
Yeah.
do.
It's called
And then
Vita.
anybody listening, if you want that, reach out to me as far as my email.
And it's
Yeah, comments in the comment section. My homegirl, Nikki Pitcher, Dr. Nikki Pitcher is gonna hook us up. Fit to hook us up, y'all. Like for real.
Yeah,
So
it's a good program.
hey, I just want to say I know y'all getting out of here. It's late. Like we're doing this late. We went out to dinner, but I just do appreciate you sliding through for the one time. All right, love you.
No problem.
Love you.
Too.
Ed, what's up, Ed? Let's close it out.
all right.
Oh, you heard that?
Oh my
Kisses. No, I'm really blessed to be surrounded by awesome people. You know what I mean? So, Dr. Kelly, talk to me, man.
Well, hey, like you say, the hour's getting late.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, just the two of us. But again, I just appreciate being a part of this program, part of the CAAASA Conference, and I look forward to the last day tomorrow, and see where we're gonna go from there.
That's it, man. That's
Yeah,
it.
but great conference, and I got a lot of information.
Hey, I want to just say this. Aside from the information you got, brother, you a powerful brother, man. You like you're armed. And it really, and you dangerous, really.
Oh shoot!
You know what I mean? Like, far as like what you got to offer the kids, like the mass is not ready for that, and I don't even think the kids understand like everything you trying to bring to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what we all doing, though. We all doing it, and it's the fight. It's the fight that we gotta have, that we gotta do out for our kids. It's a struggle, and we gotta all be in it. The equity fight, and and we gotta be there for our kids. Our kids deserve it.
Hey, one thing that stood out to me that Dr. IJ said in one of our last podcasts, far as the game orchestrator, that was reiterated, but I think people might, like turn to the left on it, right? Is that, and we think about Nicole Anderson right now, in her words, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Shout out Nicole.
yeah.
Love you. The system is not broken.
It's doing exactly what it's intended to do.
That's what it was designed for. Right? And my boy Dr. IJ said the same thing. So all the educators, if you really about these kids, all the kids, not just some of the kids, you know what I mean? And put that in perspective. Do your research. as far as the history, in terms of what schools was intended for, the population they was supposed to serve. Dr. Kelly, am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right. We have to be, like I say, the struggle's real, and this. You gotta get ready. You gotta be ready to be in it for the long haul. And, our kids need it. We can't. We gotta be committed to it and willing to. And it's not gonna be easy. Not gonna be an easy fight.
Right. And even if you are the exception, right? Because sometimes you could be the exception. That's not the real. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always an exception to every rule.
Right.
So the way everything's set up, and you might have made it fine, but maybe you're the exception. You know what I mean? And Dr. Kelly brought that full circle to me. You know what I'm saying? When he was commenting as far as my story. And when I heard that, I had to take a step back. Like, maybe I'm not the exception, but maybe I'm an exception. Like, one of many. You know what I mean? So, keep that in mind, man, because you can't throw everybody into a box. What's right for all. All right. So on that point, on that tip, the game orchestrator, game recognized game, recap CAAASA 2019, man. And shout out to Dr. Young and everybody else involved, the White Bonds. Shout somebody else out, Coach.
Hey, George McKenna and
Mike,
the executive director.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of all the people that made this possible.
My extended mother, Pamela Powell, right? Dr. Judy White, everybody that that made this happen.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna get out of here like last year. You know what I mean? So yeah. 100.
Recognize game.